Nacht Der Untoten. The zombie map that started it all. Nacht Der Untoten was the first zombie map Treyarch had ever made back in 2008 with Call of Duty World at War, and it has been a staple and an icon to Call of Duty Zombies ever since. Without Nacht Der Untoten, zombies would not be the way it is today. In fact, it wouldn't even exist. Yes, you heard me correctly, zombies simply wouldn't exist. Funnily enough, when the developers were making Call of Duty World at War, they were using zombies as little fun side projects, and it had no intention of actually being in the final product. However, because the developers enjoyed playing the game mode so much, they actually presented this idea to Activision towards the end of the game being created. So it was a very last minute decision, and I'm so glad they did it, because without that last minute decision, we simply wouldn't have zombies. So back in 2008, when Call of Duty World at War was first released, nobody had any idea that this mode existed, or how to even unlock it, or whatever have you. But there was something strange at the end of the campaign, because when you finish most Call of Duty campaigns or campaigns of any game, you just finish the game and you might move on to another one or check out the multiplayer mode if it's Call of Duty. But all of a sudden you're presented with this really eerie cutscene. It seems to be that you're down in an abandoned airfield with strange figures in the background walking around, and then you see something running towards you with no sound and no context, and then when it runs towards you, it says zombies, and then all of a sudden you're dropped into this abandoned looking airfield with a very dark and eerie atmosphere. You have no idea what's going on. You hear this hysterical laugh in the background, and then you're presented with round 1. Now when you first play this, you don't know what's going on. You're thinking it's another campaign mission, but then you soon to realise that this is not all as it seems. This is because of the dark and eerie atmosphere, with fog surrounding the map and growling noises in the distance, which sound very unhuman, and you're wondering what on earth you've got yourself into. Then all of a sudden you start seeing figures walking towards you slowly but in a menacing manner. And that, my friend, is the zombies coming towards you, ready to take your life. All you have at your disposal is an M1911 and a knife. The pistol doesn't take out the zombies very easily. You soon come to realise that as you get further into the game. And each time you kill a zombie, you start getting points, and these points can be used for a variety of things. The game is very, very clever at showing the player how the points can be used and spent in the match. For example, you notice these strange chalk drawings that resemble guns, and if you go up to it, they'll cost a certain amount of points to purchase, and when you purchase them, you'll get given that weapon, which will be used to help you kill the undead. So even in the first room of Nacht Der Untoten, you've already understand what the game mode's about. It's simply just survive as long as possible, buy the guns off the wall, and hope for the best. But wait, there's more. Behind you, you see that there's a door that says help on it, or there's a set of stairs that also has a barricade blocking your way. And you can purchase either one of these, or even both if you want, to explore the map even further. So in Zombies, you start to learn the value of exploring the map even further very quickly, because every time you kill zombies and more of them die, rounds will start increasing. So for example, when you kill all the zombies in round 1, round 2 will start, and each round the zombies get that little bit stronger, making the game mode a little bit more difficult every single round. And of course, in order to survive, you're going to need better weapons and more space to move around. So for example, the player may choose to open the help door, and then when he does this, he realises the map is bigger than he thought. There's a whole new area that he can explore. I mean, there's not much to it, but it's a new area at the end of the day, which incentivises the player to play on that little bit longer. You notice that there's another chalk drawing in the distance, nothing new, but maybe a slightly stronger weapon. But then the curious part about this room in particular is when you turn, you see this weird looking box with question marks on it. and you can purchase this box for 950 points. So when you do this, you see all these weapons popping up all through the box, and then the box will land on one of the weapons. You might get the strongest weapon in the game or the weakest weapon in the game, but it's almost like a bit of gambling. You're sort of gambling to see what weapons you can get and see if they will help you survive. Some of the weapons are absolutely fantastic and the best things in the world, while some of the weapons are mediocre but they'll get the job done. And then there are some weapons that are simply absolutely terrible and will make the experience even harder for you. It's just luck and it's the fun of the box. While most of the guns are actually guns you've already seen, probably either in the Call of Duty World at War campaign or the Call of Duty World at War multiplayer. But then you see this strange gun that pops up, and it's called the Raygun, and players are going to be wondering what on earth this weapon is. Because when you pick it up, it almost looks like a toy gun, but when you fire it, it fires these green orbs that seem to kill the zombies instantly, and this is your super weapon. However, it might take you a very long time to get the Raygun. It could take you up to round 20, for example, if you're really unlucky, because you might still get bad weapons out of the box. This is when the player comes to realise you need to get this gun as quickly as possible in order to survive the higher rounds. This is because other guns, such as the SMGs or the LMGs, become weaker and weaker as the rounds progress, as the zombies get stronger and stronger. So you sit there spinning the box sometimes, countless times getting that Raygun, to ensure your chances of surviving as long as possible. You see, the thing is with Nacht Der Untoten, you can have the Raygun, which is the most powerful weapon on the map by an absolute mile. But there's a bit of a problem. Nacht Der Untoten is a very claustrophobic and tight map, so it's very hard to move around. So even when you've got the Raygun, it's very easy to get trapped and cornered and still die. A lot of people discovered that camping in Nacht Der Untoten was often the optimal strategy for surviving the high rounds. This normally involved camping where the grenade power-up is in the corner of the staircase of the back room, and just shooting zombies and surviving as long as possible. However, there was also another thing that helped your survival in zombies, and that was the power-ups that would randomly spawn in. Sometimes when you kill zombies in Call of Duty, you get these power-ups, and in Nacht Der Untoten there was 4 of them to choose from. The first of all, one that was spawning would be double points, and this is what it says on the tin: it'd grant the player double points. So instead of getting 10 points per hit, you'd get 20 points per hit, and then you'd get double the amount of points for a certain type of kill. So for example, if you got a headshot which was 100 points, you would now get 200 points, so on and so forth. Up next we have insta-kill, and this would simply kill zombies with one hit. So whether you knife a zombie, you would kill it in one hit, one bullet, etc, etc. We then have the nuke. Now the nuke is probably one of the more interesting power-ups, as when you pick this one up, all the zombies that are in the map will die instantly. They'll explode, and that's it. And last but not least is the max ammo power-up. Now this is probably the most important power-up for surviving the high rounds in my opinion, because without ammo you can't really kill zombies, and that is what you need in order to survive. So that's why you can have the Raygun. If it runs out of ammo, it becomes a useless dud, absolutely nothing, so you need this power-up. Nacht Der Untoten is a fantastic map, especially to start with. It's simple but effective. It's a very addictive and a replayable game mode, as you want to be getting to the highest rounds possible. For example, if you're a player that, let's say, died on round 10, you're going to think, right, I want to play another game and try and beat that round and get further and further and further. That's the addictive part of the game mode. It's absolutely fantastic. The map itself, like I said, sets the tone perfectly. It's small, claustrophobic, and it keeps you on your toes at all times. But while Nacht Der Untoten is a fantastic map, it sets the tone, the ambience, the atmosphere, etc., it does have its problems. So I'm going to point a very obvious one, and it is the map. The map is very, very small. Now obviously I know this is the first zombie map, so I won't criticise this too much, but with it being a small zombies map, there's not much to explore. You've got like a couple of floors and that's about it really. And it actually makes the map quite difficult for players to manoeuvre around, and a lot of casual players in particular actually find this map quite tricky, funnily enough, because, well, simply there's not enough space to move around, so people get cornered quite easily and killed by the zombies very, very quickly. So people's games don't actually last that long, and there's not really much to help them out other than guns and maybe the Raygun and some of the power-ups, but there's no perks. It's the first zombies map, none of that existed. Nacht Der Untoten was also a very glitchy zombie map at launch, arguably one of the glitchiest zombie maps of all time, which when I was a kid, I'll admit, doing some of these glitches to get to the really high rounds was really fun. But when I look back at it now, it does ruin the quality of the map quite a bit and causes a lot of problems. But overall, Nacht Der Untoten is a fantastic map. As you can see, as I described earlier in the video, the atmosphere and the setting is absolutely fantastic, and it's a good way to start the mode, and it led on to the future zombie maps being made, all of which I'm going to be reviewing on this channel. But the funny thing is, Nacht didn't stop there. Like, it was made in Call of Duty World at War. We've had lots of different versions. So we had the Call of Duty World at War version, then we had the Black Ops 1 version, and then on Black Ops 2 they did a remake of it in the transit map in the cornfields. Then they decided to remake it again in Revelations in Black Ops 3, and then remake it again in Black Ops 3 for a remake as part of the Zombie Chronicles DLC. And then they also put it in Die Machine and Cold War. Now I could be missing a couple of these, but that's an example of how many times this map has been remade, to show how iconic it is, to show that it's had a huge impact on what zombies is today, as without it, once again, zombies simply would not exist. Anyway guys, that is actually it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching and for sticking to the end and hearing my thoughts and feelings on Nacht Der Untoten. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe as well, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.